Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. So we are going to be doing a reading on how can you find your right person. So whenever I do these readings, I kind of focus on who's coming in, and I wanted to do something a little bit different this time. So we're going to focus on what do you need to do in order to bring in Mr. or Mrs. Right, because we can only control ourselves, and sometimes there are some underlying issues. So we're going to be looking at anything that's causing this person. So if you're trying to manifest this person, what's causing them, what's happening that they're not coming in, what changes need to happen, and what's the next step for you to take, as well as other messages from Spirit from the Oracle cards. So we have 3 piles. Pile number 1 is going to be this Amethyst Flower. Pile number 2 is going to be this Rose Quartz Heart. And pile number 3 is going to be the Rose Quartz Flower. So take a few minutes, seconds, pause the video if you need to. Ask your higher self, angels, guides, which pile has a message for you. And let's jump right into the reading. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Amethyst Flower. We're going to place that right over there. So as a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we are going to get started with the tarot cards, and I picked 3. Each one is going to signify a different thing. So the first one is going to be what's causing your person, what's causing the delays? What's happening, right? What's the delay? What's the underlying issue happening? What's the blockage happening? This one is going to be what changes need to happen in order for this person to come in order for you to be able to attract in the right person. And then this one is going to be what is the best next step, I should say. So let's get started, and we're going to kind of work our way 1, 2, 3, then we're going to look at the Oracle cards. So what is happening? Judgment. Very interesting. So we have judgment for my pile number 1s as to what's the underlying issue, what's happening. Why isn't this person coming in? Why can't you find your Mr. Mrs. Right? Why isn't the right person coming in? Pile number 1 with judgment here. This is all about the self. So you may be going through some sort of spiritual awakening. You may be having to deal with who am I? And when you're dealing with who am I, it can be hard to attract someone in, right? Because when you're trying to attract someone in and you can't figure out exactly who you are at this moment, or you're growing as a person, you are growing in experience, it can be hard to know exactly who you want to draw in, exactly who you want to bring in, exactly who is the right person for you. And there's an element to this here with judgment. I feel that my pile number 1s, you've been undergoing some spiritual awakenings. You've been getting to know yourself at a deeper level. For some of you with judgment here, you've been single for a while. And during this time of you being single, you've been able to focus on your own internal world. You've been able to kind of do some soul searching, some digging within, and figure out who you truly are. Because this feels like, for my pile number 1s, there was almost this sense of you, Spirit, wanting to kind of give you this space to grow. Because sometimes when we are in a relationship, especially if it's a new relationship, it can be hard to really focus on self, because we have to, when we're in relationships, we have to think about the other person. We have to work on compromising. We have to be aware of their needs, of our needs, and kind of who we are as a couple, but also as individuals. So it does take time away from the self. It takes time away from introspection and being able to do some inner, some digging within, some getting to know who am I. And it feels like for my pile number 1s right now, and for some period of time, there's been a focus on who am I? And this is part of the underlying issue, or the blockage, if you will, when it comes to attracting someone. It's because this was meant to be your time to get to know yourself, to figure out where you are headed and where you want to go. And sometimes that can be a blessing, because if you were to start something with someone and you were to realize that you were headed in a completely different place than where you thought you were, it could be hard for someone to decide whether they want to follow you. Like for this pile, I almost get like some of my pile number ones, you may be moving across the country, maybe out of the country. Like it's that type of figuring out who I am and where I want to be and where I want to go. It feels like it's going to be a complete change of who you were, and you're going to be becoming a completely different version of yourself. So there was kind of this pause happening when it came to your romantic relationships. Because again, a lot of self-realizations and understanding of the self and spiritual awakening. And also my pile number ones, this is giving you time and space to figure out who you are and be able to show up authentically in your relationships. Let's see what changes you can make, what needs to change here in order for this person, in order for you to be able to attract in the right person for you. 7 of Pentacles. It's very interesting because we have 2 cards now that are about the self, that are about, getting to know the self, kind of figuring out who am I. Because when we talk about the 7 of Pentacles in traditional tarot, we see a completely different image than on this one. And we're going to talk about how this specific image relates. But the 7 of Pentacles is a card of kind of taking a pause, right? Kind of giving time for things to happen. It's a card of being grateful for what we have. And it's also a card that allows us to reflect. Typically, the 7 of Pentacles to me is my card of impatience. Because when we are being asked to have patience, there's usually a sense of impatience around it, right? And even in this card here, in this image, in this specific card, what we see is the woman is turning away from that man. And she seems to be needing a moment to reflect, to pause, to reconnect to self. And we do see that she looks pretty upset, and we can tell that he looks upset too in this card. And I'll hold this up so that you can take a look here. Looks like she was crying definitely, and he looks a little bit more secure in what's happening than she does. But the 7 of Pentacles is an energy that takes time. It's an energy that also says you're almost there, you're getting there. You cannot see all the progress that you've made. And I have a feeling, my pile number ones, you're not going to like the answer to this, because what needs to change is the way that you're looking at this, is the way that you are approaching this. There needs to be, you're being asked to have a little bit more patience and to understand that you're further along than what you think. That even though you cannot see what's coming in, there's a need to trust in that something is happening, and that there's a lot more happening than what you can see. That you are waiting for your harvest, and your harvest is coming, and that you just have to keep going and trusting and knowing that what you want is meant for you. That what you want, your wish, has already been granted. And even though you may not see the physical evidence of this, pile number one, it's coming together. There's just a need to be a little bit more patient. And if there is frustration here, also remembering that Rome wasn't built in a day. That what you want, you're not going to accept just anything. So how can you hold your vision while at the same time being optimistic and knowing that it's coming your way? Because my pile number ones, you're very clear cognizant. You know things, and you deep down, you know that this is coming your way. Let's take a look at what is the next step. What step you should take next. I love it. Because the 7 of Pentacles speaks of gratitude. And it speaks of being grateful for where we are at, even though we're not exactly where we want to be, to understand that progress is being made, that things are growing, that opportunities are coming our way. The sun is also about gratitude, joy, happiness, finding the bright light. Sometimes finding that bright light in darkness, right? Finding that hope in the dark, that hope after a stormy day or a stormy period. And this is saying the next step for you, my pile number ones, is to be grateful. Be grateful for what you already have. Find ways to laugh, smile. Find things to be happy about. And connect to your joy. Connect to your inner child. Do things that you enjoy. Perhaps going out a little bit more. For someone here, perhaps spending time with a child. It could be son, daughter, niece, nephew. Just a child. There's a child here that someone may be close to. J name. Jacob? Janie? I don't know. That's coming in. But pile number one. The overall picture here is being in the present moment and finding gratitude for where you are at and understanding that there's more happening that you cannot see just yet. For this pile, I will say this isn't so much about what you can do, because sometimes we do kind of block our own way. For this pile, it feels like this is more. It honestly feels for this pile like this is more about what has to happen outside of you than within you. Like you are exactly where you are meant to be. There's just a few pieces to the puzzle that need to fall into place. Let's take a look at what else we have here. Physical ailments. For some of you, getting outdoors, working out, exercising more, moving your body, taking care of your health, being aware of your body and what your body's trying to tell you. Some of you are really stressing out about this and it's starting to manifest physically. I'm getting headaches for some reason. Some overthinking. I'm getting crown and third eye chakra. Like something physically manifesting in those chakras. It feels like a headache, migraines. Could be lower back. Rebirth. There's a rebirth coming, and judgment is all about rebirth, which is very interesting. Judgment is all about rebirth. It's almost about an ego death, if you will, and having a rebirth, being more authentic, figuring out who you are and where you are headed. For many of you, this is spirit holding space for you so that you can bring in the right person. This was a part of that journey. Let's see who we have with the angels among us. And this is Saint Dimphna? I butchered that. I know I did. Mental health, well-being, support. This is my first time since I've had this deck, and I use this deck a lot pulling this card. Mental health, well-being, support. And what do we have here? Physical ailments as well. For some of you, this is about you taking care of yourself. I'm going to move these slightly up. This is about you taking care of yourself, working on your mental health, understanding that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to sit in heavy emotions. It's okay to allow the process and to not love the process. But it's also okay to try to find the light in this process, because this feels like a very heavy process for you, because it's about you reconnecting to your higher self. And for some of you, taking care of your mental health. Even if that means having to go see a professional counselor, therapist, working with a coach, reading a book on mental health. But we have that 3-leaf clover there. Your luck is changing. There's a rebirth coming. Archangel Gabriel with self-expression, creativity, North Star. What did I say? Archangel Gabriel is the archangel of life purpose. For many of you, you've been connecting to your life purpose, to your authentic self. Look at this. 2 + 1, 3, and then 3. You could be seeing 333. And then we have the 7, 7. So you could be seeing 777. But this is about you. This is a very spiritual time for you. And this is about you connecting to your creativity as you move through this, to your self-expression. Expressing yourself in some way. Whether it's an art form, it's speaking your truth, putting a blog out there, sharing your story, but expressing yourself in some way. Even if it's writing it down and then burning that piece of paper because you don't want it to ever be seen again. Let's see what else we have. Pile number 1, confidence. It comes with time and practice. Yeah. With judgment and rebirth, you're reconnecting to your confidence. Pile number 1, for some of you work with Archangel Michael, that sword is standing out to me. But for my pile number 1s, this isn't anything that you need to do per se. This is just a process and divine timing at play. Universe, we're all just stardust. Yeah. With the universe here, reconnecting to what's possible, what you believe to be possible, oneness consciousness. Tapping in to the divine. Some of you working with energy healing as well. That could be some sort of well-being support. Especially if you're going through some physical ailments, working with energy healing could be very helpful. Let's see what we have as far as astrology. Ascendant, outlook, worldview, mission statement, expression, affect, role, mark, attitude, outer self, point of view, body image, aura, likeness, approach, impact, first impressions. With the ascendant is the personality, what people see when they meet you, right? For some of you, your outlook has been changing, but also your personality, your core self has been transforming. Moon with feelings, instincts, nurturing, gut reactions, comfort, digestion, home, family, conditioning, habits. Some of you, the physical ailments could be gut related, like perhaps GERD, feeling some sort of digestion issues. Check into that if that's the case, but that stood out to me. But with feelings and the ascendant, definitely connect to your feelings. For some of you, there's a need to accept that you are struggling, that you are becoming impatient, that you are feeling overwhelmed by this. For some of you, this time has also is giving you time to connect to your confidence, especially when it comes to your outer self, to your body, but your inner self as well. Let's see what number we have as far as numerology. 99, compassion. Pile number 1, can you have compassion for yourself in this process? Can you show compassion to yourself in this process? What do you need? Some of you are very critical of self, very harsh on yourself. You're blaming yourself for something that you have no fault in. Because I will say for this pile, it just feels like it's not the right time. Like there's still a little bit to go before this comes together. But you're internalizing that. Your frustrations they're being turned inward towards self. So this is about you having more compassion with yourself. And this period is coming to an end. There is a rebirth coming in. Let's see what we have as far as romance angels. Honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Pile number 1. When I saw honeymoon, I feel like this is a honeymoon with yourself. Taking the time to enjoy the process that you're in, understanding and accepting where you are at, while at the same time making the effort. For some of you, putting yourself out there, especially if you're looking to draw in a partner, because I do feel like it's coming in closer. It's closer than what you think. But you will have to make an effort. You will have to put yourself out there. There are some fears associated with this. Some of you want this to come in, but you're not quite willing to put yourself out there. Like, you are kind of expecting this to come in, but you're expecting this to come in almost a Hollywood type of way, where you're going to be out, you're going to be food shopping, and this person is going to come up to you and happily ever after, or you're going to find them and you're going to go up to them. There's a need to put forth a little bit more of effort and understand that it's going to take a little bit of work, right? Now, it doesn't mean that when you get with this person, everything has to feel heavy and like work. No, but it means that you are the co-creator. So you can start to take the steps to put yourself out there. But again, with honeymoon, I do feel for some of you, it's about enjoying the process and where you are at. The Seven of Pentacles says there's change coming. There's more progress than what you realize that has been made. But you need to allow it to unfold and to enjoy the process. Connect to your emotions, to your feelings, and make sure that you are not repressing anything at this time. Also look at where your moon is at and work with your moon. Some of you could have a moon in the first house conjunct the ascendant. 12th house as well is coming in for the moon. Or it could be a Pisces moon. Let's see what we have here. Soul truth. First one is, what if it was easy? It doesn't have to be hard. Call in the universe, the stars, the angels, and all their powers. Find the solution. Would you take the next step if it were easy? It's time to expect ease. Call in grace and receive guidance. You are supported. List 10 possible ideals for your soul's current calling. Lean into ease. It's here. You just have to say yes to it. Make the effort and understand that it's going to flow to you. But there is a need to make some sort of effort. For some of you, definitely working with gratitude at this time and definitely going out more. Putting yourself out there more. And then we have, how can I be more kind to myself and offer more grace in this very moment? Very interesting because we had compassion here. Growing our self-love is medicine to this world's broken heart. When you heal, we all heal. When you give yourself more grace, you are able to give the world more grace. Today's soul action, look at yourself with a grace filter. You are meant to be in this moment of your life. Release the inner critic and fill in that hole with your soul's truth, that you are infinite, you are love, and you are already there. This kind of sums up the entire reading. This sums up the entire reading. About being in the moment, understanding that you are exactly where you are meant to be, not being afraid to put forth a little bit more effort, putting yourself out there more, but being compassionate and less critical of self. Pile number 1. That is all I have for you. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know anything else you'd like to see on the channel. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the rose quartz heart. I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So I picked 3 tarot cards, and we're going to get started with what are the underlying causes, right? What's blocking this person from coming in? What's blocking love from coming in with the right person? Then we're going to take a look at what changes need to happen. What are the necessary changes that need to happen? Then we're going to look at what is the next best step for you. What is the step that you must take next in order to bring in Mr. or Mrs. Right, or the right person, however you want to say that. And then we have some oracle cards that's going to give us more information. So let's get started with what's happening. What's blocking this? High Priestess. Very interesting. Very interesting so far, because there's been kind of... We're not going to talk about pile 1, but that was very interesting. So pile number 2. With the High Priestess here as what's happening. The High Priestess is a card of knowledge, right? When we think of the High Priestess, it's information. It's a connection to the spirit realm. It's, insights. it's introspection, intuition. It's having the answers that we seek ultimately, right? The high priestess has access to the answers that she seeks. She has access to the spirit realm, access to information, earthly information and spiritual information. So what's happening here is a lack of information. For some of my pile number twos, there's this sense of perhaps not being sure of what it is that you need. Perhaps you know what you want, but you don't exactly know what you need. And there's kind of this conflicting energy here with this high priestess of, I want this, but there's a part of you that there's almost two, it's going to break up into two piles. There's, for one part of my pile number twos, it's, I want someone, but I don't necessarily know what I really want in someone. I don't necessarily know what this person looks like. So it's almost like you're putting this desire out there, but you're not specific enough so that the universe can bring this in. Then there's the other half of my pile number twos where you kind of want it, but you kind of don't, because there's kind of conflicting information of, I want this, but at the same time, can I trust in this? Can I trust in a relationship? Is the relationship that I want possible? Sometimes it's easier to fantasize about something and keep it in the fantasy realm because we are less likely to be disappointed by the fantasy than we are by the reality of it. And there's almost a fear here. Because to me, the high priestess can come with a fear. And there's almost a fear of either connecting to the wrong person or a fear of getting hurt. And for some of you, there's also a disconnect from your own internal voice, from your own intuition and your own internal guidance about what it is that you want or even where you are headed. So for example, it could be that deep down you know that right now perhaps you're not really looking for the right person, that right now maybe you need some time alone, or right now maybe you just want to have fun. But there's also a part of you that maybe is being influenced to look for something that you are not fully ready for. There's also a situation here where with this high priestess, you're being encouraged to take action. So maybe it could be you get a nudge. Maybe you should go out for coffee today. And instead of going out for the coffee, that you're feeling that nudge to go out and get that coffee, you end up ordering some Uber Eats and you get it delivered and left at the door. And you're not having those interactions. You're not following your intuition. Overall, there's this sense of not following intuition for my pile number twos. And you did choose, and you chose the rose quartz, which is, and even the heart, which is all about connecting to intuition, right? Heart chakra. So there could be a need to connect more to the heart space, to figure out what the guidance that's coming in is. So what are the changes that need to happen here? Two of Wands. My pile number twos. The Two of Wands is a card of putting yourself out there, right? It's also a card of a comfort zone. When the Two of Wands shows up, there's usually a comfort zone that we've become comfortable in, right? Things are comfortable. Things may not be great, but they're comfortable. Things may not be exciting, but they're comfortable. They're predictable. They're safe. You know, you may have gotten yourself in a bit of a rut, my pile number twos, in a bit of a routine, and you're struggling to break free from this. So again, you may be trying to draw someone in, but at the same time, I don't know why. Some of my pile number twos, I really feel that you're in hermit mode, because the example that came to me was you want to go get coffee, and instead of going out and getting it, you get it delivered and left at the door. So you may not be putting yourself out there. You may not be having many interactions with people. And this is saying what the change that needs to happen is you need to get out of your comfort zone. For some of my pile number twos, you will be making the first move, or this is just about you putting yourself out there. For someone here, I don't know if speed dating is happening, but for some reason speed dating is coming in. It could be, it's not lost on me that they're on the phone. So it could be going online and trying an online dating website. But whatever it is, there's a need to get out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there. Now, I will say for some of you working with the pomegranate or apples, because I know those are supposed to be roses, but they are looking like apples to me, in ritual would be very helpful. Some of you may have a connection to Aphrodite or Persephone, or both. But overall, the change that needs to happen at this time is you putting yourself out there more. You getting out of your comfort zone, whatever that means. Many different people are going to watch this. So what does it mean for you if I say you need to get out of the comfort zone? For some of you, it's just as simple as getting out of your home. For others of you, it's, putting yourself out there more. Like I said, if you're looking for a date, perhaps trying an online dating site. Perhaps going to an event. Going to places where single people may be, where you could potentially meet someone. Let's take a look at the next step. What is the action step? What is the next step that you can take here? Two of Pentacles. Okay. For some of you, this is about balancing, right? Some of you may be spending a lot of time working, a lot of time on responsibilities. Some of you need to balance out how much time you spend indoors with how much time you spend outdoors, how much time you spend working with how much time you spend having fun. Whatever it is, the Two of Pentacles the twos in general is all about needing balance. Needing to bring in more balance in order to get to where you want to be, in order to live a more balanced life, but in order to bring in more harmony into your life. For some of you, you want to bring in the right person, but you're not making space for it. You're not holding space for this person to come in. I just noticed 2, 2, 2. Some of you could be seeing 2, 2, 2. What did I say at the beginning? There's this push and pull, and that's what the twos are all about. It's this energy of kind of this or that, push and pull, needing to bring in balance. Some of you are in two minds about this, where you want somebody, but you don't. Some of you are drawing people in, so you are able to draw them in, and then you have second thoughts. Before you even get to the date, you're having second thoughts and you're walking away from it. But then you're also asking yourself, why can't I find my person? Do you really want your person right now? For some of you, the answer is going to, it's going to be, yes, I do, but I'm scared. And for others of you, it may be just not right now, and that's okay. I do feel there's a need for introspection with this pile. And really getting clear about what it is that you want. Let's take a look at what else we have. God of Awakening. Absolutely. Communion. Yeah. And look at that, 11. Which is also 1 + 1 is 2. A lot of twos. There's a split here. There's an internal struggle here for my pile number twos. Some of you really want someone, but you don't want to risk getting hurt, and there's fear there. Others of you, you've gotten comfortable in your routine, and you're not so sure that you want somebody to come in and interrupt this kind of lifestyle that you've got going, because right now everything is predictable and safe. But you do want this. I think for my pile number twos, accepting where you are at. Being honest with yourself about where you are at in the process is very important. Let's see what the angels among us, who's here for you. Commander Ashtar. This is another card that I've never pulled before, and I've used this deck a lot. So Starseed, Space Travel, Galactic Guides. Some of you feel like an outsider from time to time, and you can feel like it's very hard to be understood. And that's where some of the fears are coming in. There's a fear of you connecting with the wrong person or not finding someone that is right for you, that is going to understand you, see you for who you are, and love you for who you are. Some of you would rather fantasize about this than realize that you met the person or that you met someone and they aren't living up to the fantasy. There's a fear of disappointment for this pile. And one thing to remember, pile number 2, is that we humans are very imperfect. But we're also very wonderful, very loving. Merlin with alchemy, manifestation, magician. Some of you definitely need to transmute. For my pile number 2s, this is also about being honest with yourself. A lot of blues here, and the blues for me are throat chakra, and the throat chakra is all about speaking your truth, but it's also about recognizing what your truth is, right? You can't speak it if you don't even know what it is. And for my pile number 2s, this is about you getting to know yourself, figuring out what the fears are, what the hesitation is, and stepping into your power. Because again, there's this energy of push and pull. I want this, but I don't. I want to put myself out there, but I don't. I want love, but I'm comfortable where I'm at. I want to make time for romance, but also I'm very busy with other things. It's going to vary from person to person, but there's a need here to really find balance. And to figure out, again, what is your truth and what do you want? And accept where you are at. Working with Merlin for this pile could be very helpful. And we have gray. Endings are inevitable. Some of you are scared of, some of you have fears around being abandoned, fears around endings, losing someone. Perhaps someone walked away unexpectedly at some point. This is also about allowing things to come to a natural close when it comes to where you are at. To allow the energy to transform. Allow yourself to move into the next step. And for some of you, the next step is going to be being in a relationship, being in a connection. Some of you have been single for a very long time. And that's why you've gotten so comfortable with it. Sword, make the change. Yeah. Some of you, a lot of 7s, so definitely in hermit mode. And making the change is about putting yourself out there more. Also, stepping out of the routine, right? Doing things in a different way. You don't have to do things the same exact way they've been done. It hasn't been working, because if it had been working, you wouldn't be watching this video. Actually, let's do this one first. New beginnings. Pile number 2, work with your sacral chakra as well. Throat and sacral coming in as very important, as well as heart. But there's new beginnings here, and these new beginnings, they want to come in. But you need to loosen the grip on the comfort zone that you are holding on to. Working with the number 1 as well. Working with the energy of allowing new things to come in. Because look at this, endings are inevitable, and make the change, and now we have new beginnings. Allow things to flow, to happen. 7th house relating. Partners, companionship, best friends, marriage, relationships, opposition, equilibrium, sharing, communion, justice, balance. Yeah, balance keeps coming up for this pile. Pile number 2, it's time for you to connect. I feel like the next step in your journey, on your journey, I should say, is connecting. Being more in connection with others. Let's take a look at what else we have. Complexity, yeah, quincunx, with irritates, puzzles, mystifies, complicates, contradicts. That's what it is. The energy here is, it's a contradiction, and that's what the 2 can be. The 2 is all about balance, but it's also imbalance, right? The light and shadow attributes of it. The 2 can be about togetherness, but it can also be about a stalemate. It can also be about a crossroads, right? This way or that way. And that's what you're being asked to get clear on at this time. Let's see what we have with the romance angels. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. For some of you, you may not be quite ready, and that's okay. That's okay. And if you are ready, it's about facing your fears and putting yourself out there. But there's a need to really get clear about what it is that you want. And I do feel for some of my pile number 2s, there's definitely an element of fear here. New love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. New love is coming in. I feel like this pile is very close. This pile, for this pile, it's coming in fast. Faster than what you realize, but you have to allow it. Like once you make up your mind, once you truly get clear about what it is that you want, it's going to come in. But right now your mind is in two places. And the energy is kind of chaotic because it's kind of this yes, no, maybe. It's almost like somebody pulling the petals off of a flower. You know, like, what, he loves me not. But yes, no, yes, no. That's what the energy feels like. Final card here, some soul truth for you to think on. Am I on the right path? Sometimes there's a lot of second guessing. This is crazy. Sometimes we second guess what we are doing. We lose trust in the process and question if we are even on the right path at all. Know this, you are on the right path. Keep going, keep believing, keep remembering that you made a soul contract that you are currently fulfilling in every area of your life. Even if you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not real. Today's soul action. Today, search for all the ways you are aligned with your soul's purpose. The signs will appear. Let this newfound trust fuel your next steps. That's what it is. It's distrust in self, in the process. If you trust yourself, if you love yourself, and you trust yourself, you know that no matter what, you're going to get yourself out of it. That you're going to get yourself through it, right? Like if you were to pick the wrong partner, and there's no such thing. We learn from every connection. You would be able to course correct and get to where you need to be. But can you trust yourself to do that? To allow this new love, this new beginning in? Because it's right at your door. Some of you may have even already met this person, or you soon will be. But again, for this pile, it comes down to you making up your mind about what it is that you want. And there is no right or wrong answer. I want to really say that for pile number 2 because it keeps coming in. You can say, I'm not ready yet and walk away. Or you can say, I'm ready and kind of face your fears and step into your courage, into your power. For this pile, the dragon is coming in as a spirit animal. All right, pile number 2, that is all I have for you. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the rose quartz flower. As a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we have 3 cards here, and each card is going to represent something different. Card number 1 is going to be the underlying cause or the blockage of you meeting your right person. Card number 2 is what needs to change. And card number 3 is going to be the next steps that you can take. The next step you can take, I should say. So let's start with number 1 here. And 3 of swords. Okay. Pile number 3. We all know, just by looking at the card, if you've never done anything with tarot, we can tell what the 3 of swords mean. It's a very hard energy to be in, right? It's heartbreak, it's pain, it's suffering, it's betrayal. It's all the heavy emotions all at once. So for this to be what's underlying, what's blocking this from coming in, from blocking the right person from coming in, there's a sense of heartbreak. There's something that hasn't been fully dealt with, fully worked with. This could be heartbreak from a past relationship. This could be heartbreak from, betrayal as a child, betrayal in past romantic relationships. This could be perhaps you fell for someone and didn't they didn't feel the same way about you, but overall the message is something very painful, something very hard to deal with. For some of you, this is going to be about perhaps still having feelings for someone, still being hurt by something with someone specific not working out. And if that's the case, working through those emotions. For others of you, perhaps it's not even about you having feelings for a specific person, but it's about the remnants of a past relationship, of a betrayal. Perhaps somebody cheated on you. Perhaps somebody took advantage of you. Perhaps there was abuse in a previous relationship. Whatever this represents, it's something very painful that needs to be dealt with. It's something that's stopping love from coming in, and it's stopping it because there's so much pain here. There's a holding on to something from the past. There's a not being able to release it and move forward. And when your heart is feeling this way, when the Three of Swords comes up, it can be very hard to open yourself up to new love because there's so much pain there. There's so much heartache there. There's a sense of distrust. There's a sense of needing to self-protect. And that can be a very hard place to manifest new love from. So this is asking you to introspect and figure out, is there some form of heartache that I'm holding on to? That I still have, that it's still in my aura in some way. Now, if you're watching this and you're saying, no, I have no heartache, no betrayal, nothing. I am clear, I am ready. This may not be the reading for you, because with this Three of Swords here, there's something, even if it's deep down, that is stopping you from being able to open your heart, because there's a lot of pain, agony, grief. For someone here, you could have lost someone, because I'm getting grief as well, like actually losing someone crossing over, perhaps a fiance. That seems very specific, but that came in. Let's take a look at what needs to change here. Page of Cups, yeah. There's a need here to connect to hope, optimism, to be able to open the heart, to be more trusting. The Page of Cups is a very innocent energy. It's a very, it's someone who can open their heart. Almost like a childlike wonder to it, right? Where, children can be very optimistic. They can really truly, they haven't been hurt by the world, so they can hold space for love. They can hold space for being vulnerable. And for my pile number 3s, what you are being asked to work with now, what needs to change is I don't want to say your ability, but your willingness to be vulnerable. Because truth is, sometimes this Three of Swords energy is going to stay with us. It's not something that we're going to heal in 2 minutes. It's not like you're going to watch this video and you're going to say, you know what, yeah, I do have a broken heart. Let me fix it. And then tomorrow you're going to be fixed, or you're going to be able to move on from it. But there is a need to be vulnerable with yourself and with others when it comes to expressing your emotions, to accepting where you are at in the process, to being able to say, you know what, I am hurting, but I also trust, but I also want to live in a different way. I also want to be open to experiencing different things. And I feel like the first step is going to be being vulnerable with yourself, accepting where you are at. Because for some of you, I feel like you've already fully dealt with this, and it keeps coming back in. I'm almost hearing every so often that you watch a pick a card reading, or perhaps you even do a reading for yourself. There's this energy from the past that keeps coming in. And it's starting to frustrate you. Because for many of you, you think you've done everything you had to do to let it go. But sometimes the biggest healer of all wounds is time, and you need to give it time, while at the same time moving forward. But accepting that there's a part of you that's still here. There's a part of you that's still dealing with this, that there's a part of you that needs to work on building back up to trust, to vulnerability. And that's okay. Let's take a look at the next step at this time. The Devil. Yeah, there's a need to get in touch with some beliefs. What do you believe around love? What do you believe is possible? With the Devil here, there's also a need to look at the way that you avoid this Three of Swords. How do you avoid the pain? What do you do? Do you go out and party? Do you go out and drink? Do you watch TV? Do you play on your phone? Do you overwork yourself? Have you shut down, shut off, cut off all emotions? What have you done to deal with this Three of Swords? Because there's something here that keeps it in your energy field, and it's because there's a lack of acceptance. But there's also something that you've been doing for many of you. This is not going to resonate for all of you. But for many of you, there's something that you've been doing to avoid having to really deal with this, to avoid having to really face this. Again, it's going to be different things for different people. For some, it's going to seem like it's a good thing, right? Perhaps you've been pouring yourself into work. Maybe you've been reading books. Maybe you've been going out with friends. You've been socializing more. But there's something here that you've been doing with this Devil card to avoid really having to delve into this Three of Swords energy. And for some here, it could be as simple as just not wanting to accept that this is still in your energy field. Repressing the emotions, right? Let's see what else we have. God of transformation. Yeah, there's a need to transform, transmute this energy. And God of action with Thor. Where are you being called to take action? Where are you being called to accept what is? How can you take this Three of Swords and acknowledge that it's there, while at the same time moving towards this Page of Cups? Moving towards taking some sort of action. For some of you, I really feel there's a need to accept this. And once you accept it and you can sit with it, you can move on from it. And like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's not meant to be. But being honest with yourself about it. Being vulnerable with yourself. Because I feel like this is about you being vulnerable with yourself first, and then being able to do it with other people. Saint Bridget with fire, growth, passion. Yeah. Reconnecting to self. For some of you, getting creative, because Bridget is a goddess of creativity. And we do have passion here, growth, fire. Fire and the God of action. Some of you, this is about starting to move forward. And in order to move forward for my pile number 3s, it's about taking one step at a time. And breaking some cycles, breaking some sort of patterns. Anything that's not healthy for you. And remember, sometimes we can take something that would be considered healthy and make it unhealthy. And we do have 2 + 0, which is 2, and it's all about balance, harmony, moderation. Make sure that you're not doing anything in the extreme, because anything in the extreme is that devil energy. Then we have Goddess Gaia with Mother Nature, the provider, and the elements. For some of you working with the elements, some of you could be elemental witches. But nurturing yourself, giving to yourself, taking care of yourself. And I believe this is a snake here. Yep. Look at that. Some of you working with the snake as a Spirit animal. Shedding, right? Shedding the old. And what is that transformation? Shedding the old skin, allowing things to heal. But again, you need to accept it in order to change it. If you are avoiding it, if you cannot accept it, you cannot change it. Making sure that you're grounding your energy every single day as well. Some of you have very beautiful flowy, like very beautiful flowing hair. That keeps coming in. I keep noticing their hairs. Could be red or brown. Spaceship, don't be afraid to sing. Yeah, don't be afraid. It's not lost on me that they're mermaids. And what do the mermaids do? They're good at swimming through waters. And what is water? Emotion. For some of you, working with a spiritual cleansing bath would be good. Tower, unplug and relax for a spell. Yeah. What did I say? With the devil there, some of you have been kind of distracting yourselves through something. It could be phone, video games, it could be TV, whatever it is, there's a need to kind of relax. If you could meditate more, that would help. Sit with yourself more, sit with your emotions more, especially that Three of Swords energy. You could be seeing 333. But there's definitely an ending here. If you can work with selenite, that is coming in for this pile, selenite. Somebody needs to treat themselves to some nice warm tea. Let's see what we have as far as astrology. Third house, perception, speech, thoughts, social media. Yeah, some of you are really, 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 really focused on social media. That could be how you are distracting yourself. With the third house here, this is also about your perception, right? How are you seeing things? Perhaps it's time to reframe how you look at this Three of Swords event, realizing that it didn't happen to you, but maybe for you. That sometimes certain doors are not meant for us to go through, and that's why they close. Certain people are not the right people for us, and that's why they walk away. Certain jobs, whatever it is, it's just not for us, and and spirit, right? Your angels, your guides, your higher self, ensure that you do not take something that's not meant for you. Wow, we have Mercury with communication and third house with perception. Words, thoughts. Yeah, this is about how you are looking at this situation. Your acceptance of it, throat chakra. Because Mercury rules the third house. We also have Gemini energy here heavy because we have the third house and we have Mercury. Some of you look at the narrative because we have Mercury third house and we have the devil. Look at the narrative that you're telling yourself. How things are going to go, how things are going to work out, what's possible, what's not possible. There's a need to connect to hope, that energy of hope, optimism, faith. What's, making the impossible possible. For some of you, you want the right person, but you're not really believing that it's possible. You believe that there's going to be a repeat of whatever that Three of Swords was. Let's see what numerology we have here, what number we have here. 27 with spiritual partnership. Pile number 3, there is a spiritual partnership here for you. For some of you, there is a divine counterpart, twin flame, high-level soulmate that's ready to come in, that wants to come in. It's about clearing whatever that is. And again, I'm not saying that you need to heal this overnight because that's not how it works. But accepting where you are and deciding to make changes, small steps. If you can say, yes, I was hurt. Yes, I'm still hurt about this. Yes, I'm afraid. But I also want to connect with someone. But I'm also ready to open myself up. Whatever it is. Let's see what we have with the romance angels. healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. For some of you, that Three of Swords could be from childhood. That Three of Swords doesn't even have to be love related for everyone. It could be a childhood. It could be family. It could be a betrayal from a parent, maybe. But there's a need to heal how you view connection and how you view what's possible in connections. And for some of you, that has to do with a mother wound or a father wound. Past life relationships. You have known each other before. For many of you, the person that's coming in is going to be a past life, someone from your past life. And I'm almost getting this message of getting it right, of you connecting and getting it right. But there's a need to move past whatever that Three of Swords is. To at the very least accept that that energy is there and that it's affecting you. Let's look at this soul truth with who am I ready to forgive? Yeah, there's definitely some forgiveness here. And it says, I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become, with Carl J. Jung. And it is time to let go, forgive, and move on. Is it time to let go, forgive, and move onward? Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Look at it from their shoes. Notice how you grew and what you learned. Who do you want to become, and how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? Which in most of your cases is the right person. Today's soul action: write a forgiveness letter, then practice the Oponopono prayer while thinking of the person you are ready to forgive. I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And that is the prayer. For some of you, doing this prayer with yourself. I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. That's one of my favorite meditations. Yeah, pile number 3, you are not this Three of Swords. Do not let it define you. And I am not saying that so that you can, dismiss it, but it's also not, it doesn't define you. Pile number 3, that is all I have for you. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next on the channel. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.